Delete it right now, Ariel hissed, her entire body shaking with dangerous rage after catching a stranger secretly photographing her brutal, messy breakdown. She lunged at the street photographer, desperately ready to smash his lens to pieces just to erase her most pathetic, rock-bottom moment from existence. One would wonder if she had gone nuts. Who wouldn't? She had lost her baby after many failed attempts to conceive. The only man she thought she could rest her broken self on had just heartlessly thrown her out the window. She thought life was done until it threw the last punch in her face. She was going to end it all until a cocky photographer appeared. Instantly, her life took a turn down the lane she was never meant to ride on. If this is your first time, you're welcome to join this community and never miss any blockbuster story that would leave you speechless. Hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. Sit back and watch how pain meant to destroy a person can actually propel them into that silent wish they've always secretly made with their eyes closed. Now, let's get into it. Ariel Wilson pressed her palms against her eyes like she could physically push the tears back in. It didn't work. Nothing worked anymore. Not the breathing exercises, not the meditation apps, not this whole goddamn trip to Jeju that was supposed to fix her. Instead, things went from bad to worse. Motion to remove Ariel Wilson as CEO, seconded by Dakota Park. Motion passed 8-2. She just got an email that sunk her heart. No. Wait, that wasn't the first email. 3 hours earlier. Ariel had been walking along the seaside path, phone in hand because old habits die hard when you've spent a decade treating it like a life support system. The sunset was doing its thing, pink and orange and objectively beautiful, but she felt nothing. 4 months since the miscarriage. 3 months since she'd finally left Damien. 2 months since her company started hemorrhaging investors. She'd come to Jeju to escape all of it. Dakota had insisted. Put her hand over Ariel's and said, "Go heal. I'll handle everything." The phone buzzed. Last remaining investor. Her stomach dropped before she even opened it. Dear Ms. Wilson, after careful consideration and consultation with your interim leadership, we have decided to withdraw our investment effective immediately. Interim leadership. She read those 2 words 3 times. Dakota was her business partner, her best friend. Why would an investor consult Dakota about withdrawing? She tried calling, voicemail, tried again, nothing. That's when the shaking started. Not nervous tremor. Full body, can't hold the phone steady shaking. She'd stumbled into the plaza, found the fountain, sat down beside it. She read the email again, hoping she wasn't seeing right. This was it. Her last investor. The only thing keeping her company alive. Gone. Sitting by the fountain as the sky turned purple, Ariel couldn't breathe. 4 months ago she'd lost her baby. Damien, her ex, was nothing but a sucker. He blamed her. "I never wanted any freaking child. You forced it to happen. Maybe this was for the best, because I wasn't ready to have any roaches flying around this house. Besides, you suck and I'm done having you around me. Pick your things and get out of my life." He had heartlessly referred to her still baby as a roach. 3 years she'd spent with him. 3 years of being slowly convinced she was never quite enough even when she worked tirelessly to prove her worth. And Dakota. God, Dakota had been there for everything. Holding her hand at the clinic, bringing her soup when she couldn't get out of bed, saying all the right things. "I'll handle everything. Just go heal. You need to take some time off work. Let nature heal what is broken inside of you." The sob came out of nowhere. Then another. Then she couldn't stop. She cried the way you cry when you've been holding it together for so long, your body stages a full revolt. Loud, messy, the kind that makes strangers look away in embarrassment. But she'd lost everything. The baby, the relationship, and now the company. The only thing left that proved her life meant something. Across the plaza, a man with a camera lowered it from his face, looking at her. She didn't notice. Seok Young had been photographing the way golden hour light hit the old stone buildings when he saw her. Expensive clothes. Sitting alone. Crying like someone had died. He'd seen that kind of grief before. In his own mirror 5 years ago, after his girlfriend Ji-won's car hit the guardrail, he walked away, and she didn't. He raised his camera. The light was perfect. The composition was perfect. But more than that, the moment was real. Nothing staged. Just a human being breaking in public because the pain had finally gotten too heavy to carry alone. He took the shot. The image was devastating. Her face twisted with grief, tears streaming, one hand pressed to her chest like she was trying to hold herself together physically. He crossed over to meet her. She didn't look up until he was standing right there. When she did, her eyes were red and swollen, mascara tracking down her face in dark streaks. "Excuse me," he said in English. His accent was thick but clear. "Please go away, I'm fine." Her voice came out wrecked. They both knew she was lying. "I'm sorry, but I think you should see this." He held out the camera, showing her the screen. She stared at herself, broken open for the world to see. Her expression shifted, confusion to understanding to fury in about 3 seconds. "You photographed me?" She stood up fast, wobbling. "Without asking," she raged. "I'm a street photographer. Delete it." Her voice was rising. People were beginning to stare. "Delete it right now. I'm sorry, but I'm not asking." She stepped closer. She was taller than he'd expected. "That's me at my worst. That's private. You had no right. I understand you're upset. You understand nothing." Her hands were shaking again, but from anger now. "You don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. And you sure as hell don't get to turn it into art without my consent." He gasped at her outburst. "That's not what this is." "Then what is it?" He looked at her for a long moment. "Proof." "Of what?" "That you're still standing regardless of what you're going through. A proof you'd look back to someday and say to yourself that you survived." She flinched like he'd slapped her. "Stay away from me." She almost poked his face with her finger. She turned and walked away fast, nearly colliding with a tourist taking a selfie. Seok Young watched her go, still holding his camera. A woman nearby gave him a disapproving look. He ignored it and looked at the photo again. He exhaled, saved the photo, and headed home. Behind him, Ariel disappeared into the Jeju streets, crying and furious and more alone than she'd ever been. She had no idea the man with the camera had just captured the moment that would eventually save her, but that was still weeks away. Right now she just needed a drink. The bar was small and dark and smelled like soju and regret. Perfect. Ariel slid onto a stool and pointed at the bottles behind the counter. The bartender, a man in her 30s with skeptical eyes, said something in Korean. "I don't speak Korean," Ariel said. "Just, something strong." The bartender poured clear liquid into a small glass, slid it across. Ariel drank it in one go, pointed at the bottle again. By the 4th shot, the edges had gotten softer. By the 6th, she'd pulled out her phone. Tried to call Dakota again, but it went to voicemail again. She stared at the screen, then started typing. She poured her entire rage into every word she coined. She wanted to understand where things went wrong between her and Dakota. Why would she second a motion to remove her from seat? A lot of unanswered questions in every word, but she could get herself to click the send button. She grunted in pain and deleted everything. She ordered another drink. By this time, the bartender said something that sounded like a warning, but Ariel drank anyway. She looked at her time. It was time to leave. Then she stumbled outside. It was pouring rain and she couldn't remember where her hotel was. She pulled out her phone to call a cab. The app was in Korean. Her eyes wouldn't focus. She was drunk. Ariel chose to just walk her way to the hotel and let the rain wash away her pain. 20 minutes later, she was soaked through, lost, and pretty sure she'd taken 3 wrong turns. The street had gotten darker, emptier, no tourists, just narrow alleys and the sound of rain hitting pavement. She should have turned back, but she didn't. She kept walking. The two men appeared so fast she didn't have time to react. One grabbed her purse. She held on, stumbling, too drunk to process it quickly enough. The second one shoved her. Hard. She hit the wall, head cracking against brick. Stars exploded behind her eyes. Her purse strap broke. They had it. "No, wait!" She lurched forward. "My passport's in there." One of them pushed her again. She went down, knee hitting concrete. Pain shot up her leg but felt distant, muffled by alcohol and shock. She tried to stand, but she slipped in the rain and fell again. Her phone skittered across wet pavement. One of them grabbed it without breaking stride. In a split second, they were gone. Ariel knelt in the alley, rain pounding down, and started laughing. It was the only way she could express the pain, because she had no more tears left to cry again. Slowly, the laughter turned to a sob, then a cry. She sat down fully, back against the wall, in a puddle, in the rain. In a foreign country with no phone, no money, no keycard, no passport, and no way to get help. She'd come to Jeju to heal. Instead, she'd managed to lose everything she had left. The rain kept falling. She stopped trying to get up. What was the point? She pressed her knee against her chest and buried her face in it. Seconds later, footsteps splashed through the water somewhere to her left. Great. More robbers. Or someone who'd step over her like trash. Either way, she didn't have the energy to care. An umbrella appeared above her head, and the rain stopped hitting her face. It was then she looked up. It was the photographer. She rolled her eyes. "You again," she said. Her voice sounded like gravel. He crouched down, holding the umbrella over both of them. Up close, he was younger than she'd thought. Maybe early 30s, dark eyes that looked concerned, but not pitying. "What happened?" he asked. "What does it look like?" She gestured vaguely at herself, soaking wet, bleeding from a gash on her elbow. "I sitting in an alley at night." "I'm having the time of my life." "Are you hurt?" "Hurt is an understatement. I'm wrecked." She touched her head where it had hit the wall. Her fingers came away red. "Oh, yeah. How much worse can my life go right now?" "Where's your phone?" "Gone. They took everything. Passport, money, credit cards." She started laughing again, that horrible broken sound. "I came here to escape my problems, and instead I just collected new ones. I'm very efficient." He stood, held out his hand. "Come on." She stared at it and chuckled. "Just go away. Leave me alone." She pressed her head on her knee again. "Why are you helping me?" she sobbed. "Because you need help. But you don't know me. I know you're sitting in the rain bleeding. That's enough." She didn't take his hand. "You took that photo without asking. Why should I trust you?" "You shouldn't. But right now, I'm what you've got. Soon it would get more dangerous to be out here alone." She looked around the empty alley. Rain, darkness, blood running down her face mixing with rainwater. He had a point. She took his hand. He pulled her up. She swayed and he caught her elbow. "Are you drunk?" he asked. "I just had a couple of drinks. Is that drunk?" "Great," but he didn't let go. "Can you walk?" "I think I can," she stumbled. "Great." He adjusted the umbrella, keeping it over her. "My car's close. I'll take you somewhere safe." "Your place? How do I know you're not a serial killer?" "Serial killers usually don't share umbrellas." She laughed. It sounded slightly less unhinged this time. "Fair point." They walked slowly. She kept stumbling and he kept catching her. By the time they reached his car, she was shivering. He opened the passenger door, helped her in. She leaned her head against the window, closed her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered. "Don't thank me yet." As he pulled away from the curb, Ariel struggled to keep her eyes opened, her eyes just enough to watch the alley disappear behind them. If you've ever had someone show up for you when you least expected, or even after you've been a hothead like Ariel, I'd like you to take a moment and appreciate that person in the comment section. Even though they might not see it, The universe has its way of making them feel your gratitude. While at it, hit the like and subscribe button to appreciate Seok Young for being a perfect gentleman. The house was small, warm light, wooden floors, my paper lamps casting soft shadows, the smell of tea and something cooking. A woman appeared from the kitchen, mid-20s, pretty, hair in a messy bun, apron that said something in Korean. She took one look at Ariel and started speaking rapidly, her voice rising with concern. "Sa-young, this is—" Seok-young paused. "I don't actually know your name." "Ariel. Ariel was robbed. She's hurt." Sa-young was already moving. "Oh my God. Come, you're bleeding. Appa, how did that happen?" "I can't tell. I found her in an alley." "You can't just keep bringing home—" Si-young stopped herself. "Sorry, that was rude. Come on." She took Ariel's arm gently, led her toward a bathroom. The bathroom was tiny but spotless. Sa-young sat her down on the closed toilet lid and started examining her head. "This needs cleaning. It's not deep, but head wounds bleed a lot." Her touch was gentle. "You might have a concussion." "Probably." "Did you hit your head when they robbed you?" "Against a wall, I think. It's fuzzy." Si-young dampened a cloth with warm water, started cleaning the blood. "I'm a nurse. Well, nursing student. Close enough. This is going to sting." "A whoosh." Ariel winced but didn't pull away. "A heads up would have been better." "You're American?" Si-young asked in her accented English. "African American. I don't speak Korean." Si-young smiled. "I see. You're tourist." She applied something that burned worse than the cleaning. "So what brings you to Jeju?" Ariel looked up, not sure the answer to that question was worth it. "I wanted to get away." "Relatable." Si-young taped a bandage over the cut. "These clothes are soaked. You'll get sick." "I'll find you something dry." "Thank you very much." "It's nothing." "You're lucky you met my brother. The street is not safe in the rain." She pulled out an oversized t-shirt and sweatpants. "These are my brothers. They'll be huge, but they're clean." Brother. So they were siblings. That made Ariel feel marginally better about being here. Getting Ariel out of wet clothes and into dry ones took longer than it should have because Ariel kept losing her balance, and Si-young kept having to catch her. "How much did you drink?" Si-young asked, wrestling a t-shirt over Ariel's head. "Enough to forget my problems," Ariel responded. Si-young helped her to the living room, where Seok-young had set up the couch with blankets and a pillow. "Do you need anything?" Si-young asked. "Water? Food?" Ariel shook her head. "Sleep. I just need sleep." "Okay. But if you start feeling worse, dizzy, nauseous, anything, you wake us up. Concussions are serious." She nodded. "Okay." Si-young lingered. "My brother's not a creep, by the way. I know this looks weird, but he's actually the most annoyingly honorable person I know. You're safe here." "Thank you, really." Ariel forced a smile. After she left, Ariel heard low voices in Korean from another room. Probably Si-young interrogating Seok-young about the random bleeding woman. She should be scared. She was in a stranger's house in a foreign country with no phone, no money, no way to contact anyone. But somehow she just felt tired. She fell asleep between one breath and the next. The dawn broke with chaos, shouting in Korean, hands shaking her shoulder. "You need to wake up. Now." Ariel's eyes opened. Si-young was there, face tight with fear. "Get up. We have to go to the basement." "What? Why?" "Tornado warning. It came with the storm last night. We need to get underground now. Can you walk?" Tornado. The word cut through the fog. Yes. "Good, come on." Seok-young appeared in the doorway. "Si-young, get her downstairs. I need to secure a few things." "Appa!" "Now, I'll be right behind you," Seok-young yelled. Si-young grabbed Ariel's arm and pulled her toward a door that opened onto stairs leading down. They made it down 3 steps before Ariel heard it. The wind. It didn't sound like normal wind. It sounded like a freight train, like the world ending. "Faster," Si-young said. And there was real fear in her voice now. They reached the bottom. Small concrete space. Supplies stacked against one wall. Young pushed Ariel toward the corner. "Sit down, cover your head." Ariel sat. Above them, the wind was getting louder. Things were crashing, glass breaking. "Where's your brother?" Ariel's heart pounded. "He's coming." But Young was looking at the stairs and didn't sound sure. The wind reached a pitch that hurt Ariel's ears. The house was shaking. Something exploded outside, a sound like thunder but sharper. "Seok-young!" Young screamed up the stairs. No answer. She moved toward the stairs. Ariel grabbed her arm. "Don't! He said he'd come. He should be here already." Young's voice shook. The basement door flew open. Seok-young came down fast, slammed it behind him. Ariel didn't notice, but relief washed down her face the moment she saw him. She didn't realize that for a moment she had cared about something. "It's here," Seok-young said. His hair was blown in a sexy yet messy way by the wind. The rain droplet caused his shirt to stick to his body, outlining his abs. Ariel smiled softly as he put things together after shutting the door. The three of them huddled in the corner as the tornado hit. The sound was impossible. The house was screaming, wood tearing, the wind trying to rip everything apart. Young was crying. Seok-young had his arms around both of them, shielding them with his body like it would make any difference if the house collapsed. Ariel found herself praying to a god she hadn't spoken to since the miscarriage. "Please, not like this. I survived everything else. Don't let it end like this." The wind screamed. The house screamed back. And then slowly, impossibly, the sound started to fade. The freight train moved on. The shaking stopped. The crashes grew distant. They stayed frozen for a full minute after it passed, nobody willing to move in case it came back. Finally, Seok-young stood. "Stay here. I'll check upstairs." "Appa, be careful," Young cried. "I will." He disappeared up the stairs. Ariel and Young waited in silence. When he came back, his face was grim. "Roof's damaged, windows blown out, but the structure's intact. We're okay." "The neighborhood?" Young asked. "I don't know yet. Power's out." Ariel was shaking. Not from cold, from the sudden overwhelming realization that she'd almost died. If Seok-young hadn't brought her here, she would have been in that alley when the tornado hit. Drunk, lost, alone. She would have died. "Hey." Seok-young was crouching in front of her. "You're okay. You're safe." "I would have been out there." The words tumbled out. "If you hadn't, I would have been." "But you weren't. You're here." Seok held her close. She couldn't breathe. The alcohol was wearing off and reality was crashing in and she couldn't breathe. "Ariel." His voice was firm but not harsh. "Look at me." She did. His eyes were dark and steady. "One thing at a time. First, you're safe. Second, your hotel is probably damaged. Nobody's going anywhere today. Third, whatever you're dealing with back home, it'll be there tomorrow. Right now, you need rest." "You don't understand." Ariel tried to fight his words again. "You're right, I don't. But I know you're injured, exhausted, and still having a hangover. Whatever it is can wait." He was right. She could barely keep her eyes open. "Okay," she whispered. Young helped her back onto the couch. The blanket felt heavy and warm. "You need to stay here while we sort the damage. Everything will be fine, okay?" Seok tucked a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. Ariel nodded and watched the walk away. If you've made it to this point of the story and you are yet to subscribe, please hit that button now. Your support means a whole lot to me. Also, you'd be helping us fight against the algorithm that might be trying to bury this story. Thank you. I love you all. Morning came with sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. Ariel opened her eyes, stared at a ceiling she didn't recognize. Panic spiked before memory caught up. The tornado. The house. The photographer and his sister. She sat up slowly. Her head throbbed. Hangover plus concussion was a special kind of hell. Her clothes from yesterday were folded neatly on a chair. Dry now. Someone had cleaned them. She stood, walked to the window. The neighborhood looked like a war zone. Roofs torn off, trees uprooted, debris everywhere. But people were already outside, helping each other, clearing wreckage. "You're awake." She turned. Seok-young stood in the doorway, holding tea. "How's your head?" "Feels like someone's running a jackhammer inside it." "That's normal. Tea helps." He set the cup near her. "Young's making breakfast." "You don't have to do this, I can—" She paused. "Actually, I can't do anything. I have no money, no phone. No way to pay you back or get anywhere." "We'll figure it out." "Why are you being so nice to me after my attitude towards you at the fountain?" He considered the question. "Would you prefer I throw you back out into the tornado aftermath?" "No, people don't usually help without wanting something," Ariel said. "I don't want anything." Ariel exhaled in disbelief. That sounded like a white lie men tell. "Everyone wants something." He looked at her for a long moment. "I want you to drink the tea before it gets cold, that's it." She almost smiled. Young appeared with food: rice, eggs, kimchi, soup. "Eat. You need to rebuild your strength." "I'm not really hungry," she objected. That wasn't a suggestion. Young set the plate down firmly. "You're injured, hungover, and probably in shock. Eat." Ariel ate. Yeah, the food was good. Better than good. She hadn't realized how hungry she was. Young sat across from her, chin in her hands. "So, what's your story?" "Young," Seok-young warned. "What? I'm curious. American woman gets drunk alone in Jeju, gets robbed, survives a tornado. That's a story to tell." "It's fine," Ariel said. She was too tired to construct a lie. "I came here to get away from my life. 4 months ago I lost a baby. 3 months ago I ended a bad relationship. 2 months ago my company started falling apart. The day I yelled at Seok, I had just found out my best friend might be the reason my last investor pulled out." The words hung in the air. Young's expression shifted from curiosity to sympathy. "I'm so sorry." "Yeah, me too," Seok added. "And I'm sorry for the picture." Ariel nodded and forced a smile. "What will you do?" "Right now," Ariel set down her chopsticks. "I need to report the robbery, get emergency travel documents, try to salvage what's left of my business, assuming any of that's even possible." Seok-young pulled out his phone. "I'll call Detective Lee. He handles tourist issues." "Really?" Ariel's face lit up with hope. "Thank you so much." Seok-young nodded. He stepped outside to make the call. Young moved to sit next to Ariel. "My brother's a good guy. He doesn't bring people home. Like ever. You must have made an impression." "He took a photo of me crying. That's not usually how I make impressions." "Did you really look at it? The photo?" Ariel shook her head. "I was too angry. He only photographs things that move him, things that are true." Young paused. "If he showed you that photo, it's because he saw something worth seeing." Before Ariel could respond, Seok-young came back inside. "Detective Lee can see you this afternoon. Roads are being cleared now. He'll help with the report and emergency documents." "How long will that take?" "A week, maybe 2. 2 weeks. Stuck here. While Dakota did God knew what in Seoul, while her company imploded, while everything she'd worked for slipped away. The panic was rising, that feeling of walls closing in. She stood up too fast, nearly fell. Seok-young caught her elbow. "I need to get to my hotel, my laptop, I need to—" "The hotel took damage," he said gently. "I already checked. They're evacuating guests." "Then I need to go there. Get my things." "We will. This afternoon. After the police station." Ariel wanted to scream, wanted to throw something, and wanted to do anything except stand here feeling helpless. "Hey." Seok-young's voice was quiet. "I know this feels impossible. But one step at a time. Police, then hotel, then your embassy. You're not alone in this. She smiled without noticing it. Your house was almost blown away by the crazy wind, and you still care about a rude stranger who almost poked her nails in her eyes just a couple of days ago. Doesn't that feel... It feels like the right thing, Seok interrupted. Despite everything, Ariel felt something shift. Not quite hope, but maybe the absence of total despair. Okay, she said finally. One step at a time. Who else is feeling this spark between Ariel and Seok Young? If you're rooting for their chemistry and can't wait to see how it goes, then do not touch that dial because the end promises to leave you breathless. Hit that subscribe button so you won't miss more stories like this one. The police station was chaos. Tourists filing reports, locals dealing with tornado damage. Detective Lee, a tired-looking man in his 50s, listened to Ariel's story through Seok Young's translation. We'll do what we can, he said in Korean. Seok Young translated. But with the storm, recovery efforts are stretched thin. Your items may turn up, but... He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. Ariel nodded. I understand. Thank you for trying. Your embassy can issue emergency documents. Usually takes 5 to 7 business days, but with the tornado... Lee gestured vaguely. Everything might be delayed. Outside, Ariel leaned against Seok Young's car and closed her eyes. What now? She asked. Now we get you to your hotel, get your laptop, then you do what you can from here. And if that's not enough? Then it's not enough, but at least you tried. Seok answered. They drove to her hotel. Half the roof was gone. Staff were directing guests to shuttles heading to other properties. Ariel's room was intact, barely. One window blown out, rain damage on the carpet. But her suitcase was there, her laptop still in the closet where she had kept it. She powered it on with shaking hands. Luckily, the Wi-Fi was still functional. 57 emails. She opened the first one. Board meeting minutes. Urgent. Her stomach dropped. Ariel? Seok Young was in the doorway. You okay? She didn't respond. She wasn't okay. She was reading the email that confirmed Dakota had orchestrated a coup. Motion to remove Ariel Wilson as CEO due to extended absence and health concerns. Seconded by Dakota Park. Motion passed 8-2. The room tilted. She scrolled down, found the press release. Dakota Park, named interim CEO of Wilson Enterprises. Ariel! Seok yelled her name like he was calling her back from a trance. She took it. Ariel's voice came out hollow. Tears streamed down her cheeks. My company. She took it. My best friend betrayed me. Seok Young crossed to her, read over her shoulder. His jaw tightened. Come on, he said gently. Let's get your things. You can deal with this somewhere safer. There is no safer. But she let him pack her laptop. Her clothes, the essentials, let him guide her back to the car. Back to his small damaged house that somehow felt more like home than her penthouse in Seoul ever had. That night, Ariel sat on Seok Young's porch with her laptop, trying to make sense of the wreckage. There were more emails, documentation of Dakota's betrayal, investor calls, board meetings Ariel hadn't been invited to, subtle implications that Ariel was struggling, that the company needed stable leadership. She had planned this long before now. It couldn't be in these few weeks she was away, and Ariel had been too deep in her grief to see it coming. She found another email. Attachment was a photo from a business dinner 3 weeks ago. Dakota and Damien, together, smiling. The caption, Strategic Partners Discuss Future Collaboration. Ariel made it to the bathroom before she threw up. When there was nothing left, she sat on the floor, back against the tub, and stared at the ceiling. Her ex, the man who'd blamed her for the miscarriage, working with her best friend to destroy her. There was a knock at the door. Ariel, See Young's voice. Can I come in? Go away, Ariel yelled. Sadly, this is my house, and I wouldn't be going anywhere. She twisted the doorknob and pushed it open. Sa Young sat down next to her on the bathroom floor. Didn't ask questions, just sat there. My best friend took my company," Ariel said finally. "And my ex-boyfriend helped her." "Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, that they're trash? You already know that. That you should fight back? You already know that too." Se-young bumped her shoulder. "So I'm just going to sit here until you're ready to stand up." Ariel started crying. Again. She was so tired of crying. Se-young put an arm around her. "It's okay, you're okay, we've got you." When the tears finally stopped, Seok-young was making tea in the kitchen. The three of them sat in the small living room. No advice, no fixing, just presence. It was the kindest thing anyone had ever done for Ariel. "I need to go back," she said finally. "To Seoul. I need to fight this." "I know," Seok-young said. "I need evidence, board allies, a strategy." "I'd help draft some proposals, documents, anything at all you need," Seok said. Ariel swept her head and looked at Seok-young with surprise. "How can you do that? You know nothing about the boardroom and the politics there. You're just a photographer." They just stared at each other with no words until Ariel saw through his eyes that he meant every word he just said. Her eyes turned glassy with tears. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. "Because watching someone destroy you when you did nothing wrong makes me angry," Seok-young said. "And because you matter." Se-young nodded. "Plus your ex sounds like trash, and I hate trash." Despite everything, Ariel almost smiled. They spent the rest of the night planning, organizing evidence, drafting emails, building a strategy. By dawn, Ariel had a plan. Not perfect, but something. "My documents should be ready in 5 days," she said. "Then I go back." Seok-young was quiet. "What?" Ariel asked. "Nothing. You're right. 5 days makes sense." But there was something in his voice. Se-young stood, stretching. "I'm going to bed. I've got early shift." She hugged Ariel. "You're going to destroy her. I have complete faith." After she left, Ariel and Seok-young sat in silence. "You think I'm making a mistake?" Ariel asked. "I think you're doing what you need to do." "That's not the same as thinking it's right." He set down his tea. "What do you want me to say?" She shook her head. "I don't know." "Then I'll say this. Go back. Fight. Win. You deserve to." He paused. "But after, think about what you actually want. Not what you should want. What you want. What if I don't know? Then you figure it out." He looked at her. "You're good at solving impossible problems. This is just another one." 5 days suddenly felt like no time at all. The days developed a rhythm. Mornings, Ariel worked on her case against Dakota, compiled evidence, called the one board member she could trust, Mr. Hong, the company's legal counsel. I have everything," he said over a scratchy connection. "Financial misconduct, breach of fiduciary duty. She got sloppy, Ariel. We can fight this." "How fast can we move?" Ariel asked. "How fast can you get back here?" She looked at the calendar. 3 more days. Then 3 days. The moment you land, we go to the board. Afternoons, Seok-young would appear and take her somewhere new. A tangerine farm where the owner's grandmother taught her to pick the sweetest fruit. A folk village where she learned to make traditional tea. Waterfalls that made her forget, for whole minutes at a time, about soul and betrayal and everything she'd lost. He photographed everything. The island, the light, the way shadows fell across stone walls. Sometimes she'd catch him turning the camera toward her when he thought she wasn't looking. She stopped telling him not to. "Why do you photograph so much?" she asked one afternoon at the beach. They were sitting on rocks, watching the ocean. Nobody else around. "Because I spent 5 years not seeing anything," he said. "After Ji-won died, I was just numb. The camera helped me see again." "Who was Ji-won?" He was quiet for a long time. "The woman I was supposed to marry. Car accident. 5 years ago." His voice was stiff. "I was driving. It was a rainy night. The tires slid off. She died. I didn't." He exhaled deeply. "It has been 5 years already, but it still hurts." "I'm sorry," Ariel whispered. Everyone's sorry, doesn't change it. No, it doesn't. Waves crashed against the rocks. Does it get easier? Ariel asked. Yes and no. The sharp pain fades. But it doesn't disappear. It just becomes part of you. He looked at her. Like a scar. I lost a baby 4 months ago. The words came out before she could stop them. Miscarriage. It wasn't that far along. Most people said it wasn't even a real loss yet. But it felt real to me. It was real, Seok-young said firmly. Loss is loss. Other people don't get to measure it for you. Something in Ariel's chest cracked open. She'd been waiting 4 months for someone to say that. My ex blamed me, she continued. Said I wasn't ready anyway, that I worked too much, that maybe it was for the best. Your ex is an idiot, Seok-young chipped, throwing a pebble into the water. Ariel laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, he really is. They sat in silence. Comfortable silence, the kind that doesn't need filling. Can I ask you something? Ariel said finally. Yes. That photo you took, at the fountain. Can I see it again? She looked at Seok-young's face. What? She chuckled in disbelief. You almost clawed my eyes out that day like a pack of angry hyenas. Ariel's cheeks flushed as she threw soft punches at Seok-young. They both laughed so hard. What if I said I deleted the photo like you asked me to? He asked. Then I'd know you're a terrible liar, Ariel responded, rolling her eyes playfully. He pulled out his phone, found the image, handed it to her. Ariel looked at herself. Really looked this time, past the anger and embarrassment, saw what he must have seen. A woman in pain, yes, but also present, real, refusing to hide even when hiding would have been easier. I look human, she said. That's what I saw. She handed the phone back. I spent so long building an image. The successful businesswoman. The one who has it all together. Looking at this, I just see someone who's tired. Being tired is honest. Yeah, I guess it is. Ariel rested her head on Seok-young's shoulder as they watched the waves crash against the rock till it was time to leave. When he dropped her at her new hotel that evening, a smaller property on the coast, Ariel didn't want to go inside. Thank you, she said. For today. You don't have to keep thanking me. I know, but I want to. He nodded, started to drive away, then stopped, rolled down the window. Ariel, he called. Yeah? You're not as alone as you think you are. He left before she could respond. Ariel stood outside her hotel, watching his car disappear, feeling something she couldn't name. Not attraction, not yet, but connection, understanding. The first genuine human warmth she'd felt in months. 2 days before her flight, Sa-young joined them at a seaside market. She taught Ariel how to pick fresh seafood, haggle with vendors in broken Korean, laugh at her own terrible pronunciation. You're different, Sa-young said while Seok-young was buying coffee. Different how? Lighter. When Appa first brought you home, you looked like you were carrying the world. Now you just look like a person. Sa-young smiled. I don't know if that's a compliment. It is. Sa-young bumped her shoulder. He's different too. What do you mean? My brother has been quiet since Ji-won died. Not sad, exactly. Just removed. Like he was watching life through his camera instead of living it. She paused. He's not doing that with you. Ariel's brows furrowed. We're just friends. Sure, Sa-young's smile was knowing. Just friends who stare at each other when you think the other isn't looking. I don't. You do, and it's sweet. He needs someone. You need someone. Maybe that someone is each other. Before Ariel could respond, Seok-young returned with coffee. They walked through the market. At some point, without discussing it, they ended up back at his house instead of Ariel's hotel. It was becoming a pattern, one Ariel wasn't sure how to feel about. That evening, they ate on the porch as the sun set. Ariel had her laptop open, trying to work, but kept getting distracted by the view. You can't see this in Seoul, she said. No, Seok-young agreed. In Seoul you see buildings and traffic, but not this. Do you miss it? Seoul? Sometimes the energy. But I needed the quiet more. How long will you stay here? He shrugged. As long as it takes. As long as what takes? Healing, growing, becoming whoever I'm supposed to be next. He looked at her. You can't rush that. I'm very good at rushing things, Ariel said. You don't need to say I've noticed. Ariel closed her laptop, gave up on work. Teach me something. What? Seok-young looked confused, like he was just handed a ticking time bomb. Anything, something you know that I don't. He considered this for a while. Went inside, came back with his camera. Okay, come here. She moved to sit next to him. He turned on the camera, showed her the viewfinder. What do you see? He asked. The ocean, the sunset. That's what everyone sees. Look closer. What catches your eye? She looked, really looked. The way the light hits that rock makes it look like it's glowing. Good, that's your subject. Everything else is context. He adjusted settings. Now, expose for the light, not the shadows. He handed her the camera. Their fingers brushed. Neither pulled away immediately. Take the shot, he said quietly. She did. Looked at the screen. The rock was perfect, glowing, surrounded by shadow and light and ocean. I've never taken a photo that good. It was always there. You just had to see it. She looked at him. He was already looking at her. The air shifted. That awareness they'd both been ignoring suddenly impossible to ignore. Seok-young? I know. This is complicated. I know. I'm leaving tomorrow. I know. But neither of them moved. The camera sat forgotten between them. The sunset painted them both in gold. I haven't felt this in a long time, Ariel said. What? Safe. Like I can just exist without performing or proving or protecting. That's how it should always be. Seok-young smiled. It never is, though. He reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The gesture was so gentle it made her chest ache. Maybe you've been around the wrong people. She leaned closer. So did he. The space between them disappeared by inches. Then his phone rang. They both jumped. The moment shattered. Seok-young answered. Spoke in rapid Korean. His expression changed. When? Okay, yes. He hung up. That was Detective Lee. They found some of your things. Your credit cards, damaged phone. He wants you to come identify them. Now? Her eyes lit up with excitement. He's at the station late tonight. Tomorrow he's off. Reality came crashing back. Ariel stood. Right, okay, let's go. The drive was quiet. All the warmth from earlier was replaced by careful distance. They were both thinking about what almost happened. At the station, Detective Lee showed Ariel a bag of recovered items. Her wallet. Credit cards warped and damaged. Her phone screen shattered beyond repair. Still looking for the passport, Park said through Seok-young's translation. But your emergency documents are ready. You can pick them up tomorrow. Tomorrow. Then she could leave. On the drive back, Seok-young finally broke the silence. Tomorrow. Yeah. That's good, you can get back. Handle your business. Right. They beat about the moment. Then, more silence. Ariel. Don't. She cut him off. Please. Whatever you're going to say, just don't. She didn't look at him. Why not? Because I can't. I can't get attached. I came here to heal, to find me, not feel something. Not when I'm leaving. Feeling something isn't a crime. Seok-young tried to object. It is when it's impossible. She looked out the window. I live in Seoul. You live here. I run a company. You've built a life where you don't need complications. You're not a complication. Seok-young glanced at her. Yes, I am. We both know I am. He pulled up to her hotel, put the car in park, turned to face her. What if you didn't leave? The question hung between them. No, I have to. You know it. Do you? Or do you just think you have to because it's what you've always done? Seok-young, I'm not asking you to stay forever. I'm asking you to consider that maybe running back to fix everything isn't the only option. My company is falling apart. Your company fell apart while you were there. Being in Seoul didn't stop it. The words were harsh, but true. Ariel flinched. I'm sorry, he said. That came out wrong. No, you're right. She unbuckled her seatbelt. But that doesn't change anything. I still have to go back, try to salvage what I can. And then what? I don't know. Rebuild, move on, survive. The word punched a breath out of Seok-young. That's not living, that's just existing. She opened the car door. Sometimes existing is enough. She walked into the hotel without looking back. He watched her for a while and pulled away. Her heart broke 1,000 pieces, though this time it wasn't from grief or anger. It was because for a brief, impossible moment, she'd imagined a different life. One where she stayed, where the ocean and the quiet and the man with the camera were enough. But that wasn't her life. Her life was in Seoul, in boardrooms and investor meetings and fighting to keep what she'd built, even if what she'd built no longer felt like home. She pulled out her laptop, started preparing for war, because if she was going to leave this island, leave him, it had to be worth it. The call came at 2 a.m. Ariel couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about Seok-young's question. What if you didn't leave? She'd opened her laptop to distract herself. There was a new email. Subject line, urgent, board meeting minutes. She clicked it, read the first line, read it again. My motion to remove Ariel Wilson as CEO due to extended absence and health concerns. Seconded by Dakota Park. Motion passed 8-2, but she'd already seen this email. This was, she scrolled down, found a new message, from Mr. Hong, the one board member she trusted. Ariel, I don't know if you're getting these messages. Dakota has been systematically undermining you for months. I have documentation. Call me the second you see this. We can fight this, but you need to come back now. Ariel's hands were shaking. She tried calling. It was 2 a.m. in Seoul. He didn't answer. She tried Dakota. It rang and rang. Then Dakota picked up. Hello? Her voice was bright, cheerful. What did you do? Ariel's voice came out raw. Silence. Then, Ariel, you're awake. What did you do? I did what needed to be done. You took my company. No, I stabilized the company. You were falling apart. Someone had to step in. You planned this. Ariel was pacing now. You sent me away so you could take everything from me. I saved us. You were a liability. The board agreed. You manipulated them. I showed them reality. You disappeared to another country for healing. Dakota's voice had gone cold. After losing a pregnancy, after therapy failures, after erratic decisions, what was I supposed to do? Watch you sink the company? You were going crazy, Ariel. The company needed sane people to run it. No some unstable humans. Unstable? The word struck Ariel like a thunderbolt. She couldn't believe Dakota would say that without remorse. I trusted you, Dakota. Ariel's voice shook. And I carried you. For years, Ariel. Years of being in your shadow, cleaning up your messes, smiling while you got all the credit. You were my partner. I was your assistant. You just called it partnership to feel better about yourself. The words were knives. I loved you, Ariel said, voice breaking. You were my best friend. You loved what I could do for you. There's a difference. Dakota paused. When's the last time you asked about my life? My goals? When's the last time you saw me as anything other than support staff for your empire? There was a moment of silence between them. Dakota laughed, sharp, bitter. That's what I thought. So yes, I took the company, because I earned it. And you were too broken to stop me. I'm coming back. I'm going for you. Ariel yelled at the top of her voice, not minding it was late into the night. Good. Do you think your empty threat freaks me out? I think it gives us an opportunity to properly discuss severance. I'm going to fight you, Ariel repeated. Come off it, Ariel. Fight me? With what? You have no allies, no resources. The board voted you out. It's done. I'll find a way. You do that. Dakota's voice softened slightly, almost sympathetic. Ariel, I'm not the villain here. I'm just the one strong enough to do what you couldn't. Let it go. Move on. Maybe this is the universe telling you to finally rest. Go to hell, Ariel barked. I'll send flowers to your hotel. Dakota mocked before she hung up. Ariel stood in her hotel room, phone in hand, entire body shaking. Everything was gone, not just the company. The friendship, the trust, all of it. Lies. If you already dislike Dakota's guts after betraying her friend, this is the more reason you should stay tuned and watch what happens to her. If you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. The morning came in a blink of an eye. Ariel was ready to leave. She had the day to get her things in order and say her last goodbyes. She got ready and picked a cab to Seok Young's house. Sa Young was already heading out for school when she sighted Ariel. Hey, Ariel, she grinned. I'm running late, but make sure I see you when I return. They hugged each other before Si Young ran off. Then she cited Seok_Young. I'm sorry about yesterday. Everything was happening too fast and I didn't know what to say or how to react. You don't have to apologize. You need to get your life in order, and I get it, but I'll miss you. The words came out quiet, honest. These 2 weeks, they've been the first time in 5 years I've felt like I was living instead of just existing. And tomorrow you'll be gone. Ariel's chest tightened. I'll miss you too. That doesn't change anything. No, it doesn't. They sat with that truth. What if... Ariel started. Don't. You don't know what I was going to say. You were going to suggest staying in touch. Video calls, maybe visits, long distance something. He looked at her. And we both know that wouldn't work. Your life is in Seoul. Mine is here. We could try. Could we? You're a CEO. I'm a photographer living in a damaged house in Jeju. You operate in boardrooms. I operate in silence. What kind of future is there? I don't know, but does that mean we don't try? He stood, paced to the window. I watched the person I loved die, spent 5 years learning to live with that. And the first time I feel something real again, it's for someone who's leaving. Do you know how cruel that is? Then tell me to stay. I can't. Why not? Because you'd resent me, you'd lose your company, and you'd blame me for it. Maybe not now, but eventually. You don't know that. I do. He turned to face her. Go back to Seoul, fight, win, and if after all that you still think about the photographer in Jeju... He paused. Then maybe we revisit this. That could take months. Then let it take months. Ariel stood. I crossed to him. What if I don't want to wait? What if you don't have a choice? They were close enough that she could feel him breathing. I'm scared, she whispered. I'm scared if I leave, this disappears. If it disappears that easily, it wasn't real. And if it doesn't? He reached up, cupped her face with one hand. Then I'll be here, waiting, hoping you come back. He kissed her forehead. Not her lips, her forehead. It was somehow more intimate. If I were you, I'd definitely wait for Sa Young to return. Unless you want to have another fight waiting for you, he said, stepping to the balcony. I sure would stick around. The airport was crowded. Seok Young insisted on driving her. Sa Young came too, citing emotional support obligations. They stood at security, the place where Ariel would have to go on alone. Sa Young hugged her first, hard. You're going to wreck her, and when you do, send me a photo. I want to see her face. I will. Also, come back. Because if you break my brother's heart, I'll hunt you down. Seok Young warned. I'm just saying. She stepped back. Take care of yourself. She walked away, giving them privacy. Ariel and Seok Young stood facing each other. "So," she said. "So." He reached into his bag, pulled out a photograph, the one from the fountain, her, crying, broken. "I want you to keep this," he said. "I hated this photo." She chuckled. "I know, but keep it anyway, to remember." "Remember what?" "That you survived the worst day of your life. And everything that came after." He pressed it into her hand. "Don't forget what you're capable of." She looked at the photo. At herself, my raw and real and still standing. "I won't." "And Ariel." "Yeah?" "When you win, not if, when, think about what you want to do next, not what you should do, what you want." "What if I don't know?" "Then figure it out." He smiled slightly. "You're good at solving impossible problems. This is just another one." She wanted to kiss him, wanted to stay, wanted to choose the ocean and the quiet and the man who saw her completely and didn't flinch. But she couldn't, not yet. "I'll call you when it's done." "I'll be waiting." She turned to go, stopped, turned back. "Seok Young?" "Yeah?" "That day at the beach, you asked what if I didn't leave." She paused. "I want you to know, I thought about it, really thought about it, and I think maybe someday, I'll have an answer that makes sense." "Someday's a start." She walked through security, looked back once. He was still standing there, watching. Raised his hand in a small wave. She waved back. Then she walked toward her gate, toward Seoul, toward the battle waiting. The photograph was in her bag, a reminder of who she'd been and who she was becoming. For the first time in months, Ariel felt something other than grief or anger or fear. She felt ready. If this scene moved something in you, then don't keep it alone. Subscribe and share to as many people as you can. Seoul looked different. Ariel stood outside Wilson Enterprises, staring up at the building she'd built, and felt nothing. No pride, no nostalgia, just cold assessment. This was hers, and she was taking it back. She walked inside. Employees stared, whispered. She ignored them. Took the elevator straight to the executive floor. Dakota's assistant, her old assistant, stood when Ariel appeared. "Ms. Wilson, we weren't expecting—" "Is she in?" Ariel's voice was stiff. "Well, yes, but—" Ariel walked past her, opened Dakota's office door. Her office door. Dakota looked up from the desk. For a second, genuine surprise crossed her face. Then the mask slid back. Professional, controlled. "Ariel, you're back early," Dakota smiled. "Surprise!" Ariel closed the door behind her. "You have until 5 p.m. to drop your resignation letter, quietly, with a carefully worded statement about pursuing other opportunities or else." Dakota laughed. "Or else what?" Ariel pulled a folder from her bag, set it on the desk. "Or I take this to the board, and the press and the authorities." Dakota chuckled dryly. "Dramatic. What's in it?" "Documentation of your financial misconduct. Emails showing you met with competitors while employed here. Records of investor calls, where you explicitly undermined my leadership. Testimony from 3 employees." Dakota's expression didn't change, but her fingers tightened on her pen. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Mr. Hong helped me compile it. Turns out having one loyal board member is all you need when that board member is also the company's legal counsel. "The board voted," Dakota's voice cracked. "The board voted based on false information you provided, medical privacy violations, misrepresentation of my status. Once they see this, that vote is invalid." Ariel wasn't backing down. "You can't prove intent." Dakota spat. "I don't have to. The best friend. The pattern proves itself." Ariel leaned forward. "You got sloppy, Dakota. You thought I was too broken to fight back. You were wrong." For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Dakota's face. "What do you want?" "Huh?" "I told you. Resignation by 5 p.m. Leave quietly. I don't want to destroy your reputation. Do not make me lose the tiny respect I have left of you." Ariel growled. And if I refuse? Dakota sank into her seat properly. Then you'd regret every choice you've made. They stared at each other. Years of friendship, partnership, trust. All of it ashes now, clouded with hatred. I was right, you know, Dakota said finally. You were falling apart. You were also supposed to be my friend. Friends don't use your trauma as an opportunity. Friends don't take each other for granted, Dakota spat back. I never... You did, Dakota's voice cracked, slightly. Every day, every decision. I made it all work and you got the credit. Do you know what that feels like? Then you should have talked to me. We could have fixed whatever you felt was the loophole. Would you have listened, huh? Dakota shot back. Ariel wanted to say yes, but looking back, honestly, she had been distant. It doesn't matter now, she said. What's done is done. You have until 5 p.m. She turned to leave. Ariel, Dakota called. She stopped but didn't turn around. For what it's worth, I am sorry. About the baby, about Damien, that part was real. Was it? Or is this you trying to trick your way into my good book? Dakota swallowed her next word. Ariel walked out, slamming the door behind her. The board meeting happened before Dakota could find her defense. Ariel presented her evidence, calmly, methodically. Watched the board members' faces change from skepticism to anger to embarrassment. Dakota had nothing to say. Everything pointed to her as fraud and fake. An opportunist. The board wanted to take up legal actions, but Ariel couldn't get herself to put Dakota behind bars. Aside this, Dakota had always stood by her. I want her out. For good, Ariel said. The vote to reinstate Ariel as CEO was unanimous. Dakota had 24 hours to tender a resignation. Ariel should have felt victorious. Instead, she just felt tired. That night, alone in her penthouse, she stared at her laptop, at the mountain of work waiting. She exhaled deeply, closed it, and picked up her phone. She found Seok Young's number. There was a bit of hesitation. What would she say? I won. I got everything back. I'm exactly where I started. Except she wasn't where she started. She'd changed. That where she started. She'd changed. The victory felt hollow without someone to share it with. Her phone buzzed. Text from Cy Young on WhatsApp. How did it go? Did you destroy her? Please say you destroyed her. Ariel smiled, typed back. She resigned. It's done. Amazing. You're a warrior. When are you coming back? Back? Ariel's brows furrowed as she texted back. To Jeju, to visit. The island misses you. Appa misses you. He won't say it, but I can tell. Ariel's chest tightened as she read it. Things are complicated here. Things are always complicated. I wish you'd come anyway. Ariel looked around her penthouse. Beautiful, empty, exactly as she'd left it. Nothing had changed. Everything had changed. She'd won the war. But sitting alone in her expensive apartment, she wasn't sure what she'd actually won. She opened her laptop, started delegating, restructuring, building systems that didn't require her to be present 24/7. If she was going to do this, rebuild her life, not just her company, she needed to do it differently, starting now. 3 weeks later, the invitation arrived, physical mail, rare these days. Return address? Jeju. Ariel opened it carefully. You are cordially invited to the opening of The Woman Who Returned to Life, a photographic exhibition by Kang Seok Young. Gallery Sue Seoul. Opening reception. Friday, 7 p.m. Her hands shook. He was in Seoul, having an exhibition, and he'd invited her. No personal note, just the formal invitation. She stared at it for 2 days, so told herself she wouldn't go. Told herself it was better to leave it alone. But when Friday came, she put on a simple black dress and went. The gallery was beautiful, modern, minimalist, already crowded. Ariel stood at the entrance, suddenly terrified. She could leave, turn around, pretend she'd never come. But then she saw the photographs. They covered the walls, all black and white, all devastating in their honesty, and they were all of her. Her breath stopped. There she was, looking at the ocean, laughing at the tangerine farm, sleeping in the sun, walking on the beach, living. In the center, 2 photographs side by side. The first, her at the fountain, crying, broken. The second, her at the same fountain, smiling. She didn't remember him taking the second photo. The placard beneath, before and after, same woman. Different story. Ariel walked through the exhibition in a daze, seeing herself through his eyes. Not perfect, not polished, just real. Beautiful in her humanity. Then the voice came. "I wasn't sure you'd come." Ariel startled, turning around immediately. Seok Young stood a few feet away, simple suit, looking nervous. "You photographed me the whole time. These are beautiful," she said nervously. "Yes," Seok Young responded. "You didn't tell me." Ariel rolled her eyes with a smile. "Well, you would have said no, so I took the risk anyways." They both chuckled. "You're right, I would have." She looked back at the walls. He stepped closer. "I wanted to show the whole world that it is possible to be you again after trauma. I wanted to let them see someone who came to Jeju broken, and left whole." "I wasn't whole," Ariel stepped back. "You were more whole than you thought." He gestured to the photographs. "This is you healing, in real time. I documented it because—" He paused. "Because I needed to remember that healing is possible. After Jiwon, I didn't think it was. Then I watched you do it. And it gave me hope." Ariel's eyes stung. "These are private moments." "I know. If you want me to take them down—" "No." She looked at him. "Don't. They're beautiful." "You're beautiful, Ariel." The words knocked a breath off Ariel's lungs. She wasn't expecting it. "I came back to Seoul," she said. "Fought for my company. Won." "I know. Cy Young kept me updated." "Did she tell you I've been restructuring, hiring a co-CEO, building systems so I'm not drowning anymore?" she asked. "Yeah. She also mentioned it." "Did she tell you why?" "No." Ariel stepped closer. "Because you asked me what I wanted, not what I should do. What I wanted." She took a breath. "And I realized I wanted to build a life that had space for more than just work." Seok Young smiled. "That's good," she continued. "Space for peace, for quiet, for—" She stopped, started again. "For you, if you still want that." His expression shifted. "Ariel." "I know it's complicated. I know I live here and you live there, but I can travel, split my time, build something that works for both of us. If you want to try, we can make it happen." "What about your company?" "I have a co-CEO now. Good systems. I can run things remotely part of the time." She paused. "I don't want to be here all the time anymore. I want the ocean. And the quiet. And you?" "You're sure?" Seok Young gasped in amazement. "No, but I'm willing to find out." He laughed again. "That's terrifying." "I know. Also brave." "I learned from the best." She smiled. "Someone once told me that strength isn't about not breaking. It's about breaking and continuing anyway." "Sounds like a smart person." He winked. "He has his moments." Seok Young laughed. Then he cupped her face in both hands. "I missed you, every day." "I missed you too. I don't know how to do this. Build something with someone. It's been 5 years. I don't know how either, but maybe we figure it out together." Then the long-awaited moment came crashing in. He kissed her. Finally. Soft, slow, perfect. When they pulled apart, the gallery had gone quiet. People watching. Smiling with a cheer. Ariel didn't care. "So," Seok Young said, "what happens now?" "Now? I have 2 more weeks of transition in Seoul. Then I'm coming back to Jeju for a month. We'll see how it goes." "And if it goes badly?" "Then we adjust, but I don't think it will," Ariel said. I love the confident, Seok Young commended. I'm a CEO. Confidence is kind of my thing. He smiled, took her hand. Come on, let me show you the rest. They walked through the gallery together, hand in hand, past photographs of healing and hope and second chances. At the exit, there was one final image. Ariel at the fountain, the recent one, smiling, free. The caption, "The woman who chose to live." She looked at it for a long time. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me when I couldn't see myself." "That's what love is," he said simply. Love. And the word settled between them. True. Undeniable. "Yeah," Ariel said. "I guess it is." They left the gallery together, into the soul night, toward whatever came next. For the first time in years, Ariel wasn't afraid of the unknown. She was ready for it. 1 month later. Ariel woke to sunlight streaming through curtains and the sound of waves outside. She smiled before she even opened her eyes. The bed next to her was empty, but she could smell coffee brewing, hear Seok Young moving around in the kitchen. She got up, pulled on one of his shirts, patted out to find him. He was making breakfast, looked up when she appeared. "Morning." "Morning." She wrapped her arms around him from behind. "You're up early." "Workshop at the center starts at 9. The center. The retreat they were building together. Part photography studio, part therapy space, part community hub for women recovering from trauma. Ariel's idea, funded by her foundation. Run by Seok Young and a small staff, including Sai Young, who'd transferred to a Jeju hospital to be closer. They ate breakfast on the porch. The ocean stretched out before them, endless and calming. Ariel's penthouse in Seoul sat mostly empty now. She visited twice a month for board meetings. Her co-CEO handled day-to-day operations. Ariel handled vision and growth. It worked. More importantly, it gave her space to breathe, to live, to be something other than just her job. Later that evening, they sat like that as the sun set, painting the sky gold and pink and purple. Her head rested on his shoulder. Same view as a year ago. Different life entirely. "You know what I just realized?" Ariel said. "What?" "A year ago today, I got that email. The investor withdrawal. The thing that made me break down at the fountain." Seok Young was quiet for a moment. "That was a year ago?" "Yeah. So, today is the anniversary of the worst day of my life." Ariel smiled. "Which became the best day, because I met you." "That's extremely cheesy." "I know, I'm allowing myself one cheesy moment per year. This is it." He laughed, pulled her close. "Okay, I'll allow it." They watched the rest of the sunset in comfortable silence. "What do you think happens next?" Ariel asked. "For us?" "I don't know. What do you want to happen?" "More of this. Mornings together, building the center, helping people heal. Maybe expanding to other locations eventually." "That's a good vision." Seok Young took a look at her again. "I love you, Ariel," he said. "I love you too, annoying photographer." They both busted into a laugh before Seok Young sealed it with a kiss. She'd survived, thrived, built something better than before. She walked back to the house, to Seok Young, to Sai Young, to the community, to the life she'd chosen. She'd thought coming to Jeju was running away. Turned out it was running toward something great, toward healing, toward love, toward the person she was always meant to become. The end. If this story gave you chills, then help others experience the satisfaction you got. Kindly subscribe to the channel so that the algorithm can push this story to as many people needs to hear it. Do not forget to tell me where you are watching from. I'd love to meet you in the comments. Till the next story, give yourself a chance to heal from that thing keeping you back. Bye.